right, guys. Well, welcome back. It's been a few weeks since we've had a chance to bring in a guest, and I'm super excited to get back on the train. The baby has been eating up all of my time. I wanted to let you guys know that this particular episode is sponsored by EFS Energy. For 11 years, we have been installing some of the greatest solar systems in the area. So if you have questions or anything like that, feel free to shoot a comment or a DM to the website, to the YouTube page, whatever it may be. If you got solar questions, you want a free estimate, shoot me a line, EFS Energy, your authority on solar for the last 12 years here in St. Louis. Without further ado, I have Crystal with ProTech Roofing.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
So, little context, Crystal and I are in a basically a networking group, but it's considered Master Networks. It's a much more robust and honestly, if you've been to enough of them, a better format than I've ever been to, period. We met there, and she brought me up to speed on what she does, and I was like, that's awesome, and I wanted to bring her on here today. So tell me a little bit about you from a standpoint of getting up to ProTech Roofing. Tell us how you got there.
Absolutely. So I actually started in the roofing industry about 20 years ago. So right around 2000. When I started in the industry, I was obviously a girl. So in roofing, I had to always be better than my predecessors. And so I wanted to make sure that I knew more, made sure that all of the customers were being taken care of as far as like the best options, what were the proper options.
Right.
So when I started in the roofing industry 20 years ago, I started on the sales floor and climbed roofs and did all of that stuff. So I actually was like out there with the guys doing the same thing that they were. In 2007, I had realized that St. Louis needed contractors that were roofing contractors that were more about the customer than the paycheck. And
awesome. Yes.
Yeah. So I had so many run-ins with customers that would call and say, hey, my roof is leaking. And, I'd go out and I'm like, well, when did you have it put on? And they would tell me a year ago or 6 months ago, and they couldn't find the contractor that put it on. And it was disheartening because those people paid, for the services that they got, and they had an expectation that they would get a warranty with that. And
so what is the, like, if you're talking to an average Joe today about that industry as a whole, is it a false assumption that it's kind of fly-by-nighters? Because that's always been kind of the, I deal with roofing in a way, but not a roofer like you guys.
Right.
But we get a lot of like, oh, they were here, but they were gone. Solar has the same thing.
Yeah.
There's like a footprint.
Yeah.
Is it kind of that way in your industry as a whole? Or
It is, and Missouri is unfortunately not a licensed state when it comes to roofing contractors, so there's no real regulations for their standards of coming into the actual profession. So unfortunately, it is more of a here today, gone tomorrow industry.
Okay.
Which is actually why when I started in 2007, it was more about the people. It's about the community. How do we serve them and not just be another roofing contractor here in the area? So with that being said, I owned a prior company for 14 years. And then I wanted to move on to some other things, had some grandbabies and all of that fun stuff.
Oh, there you go.
Wanted to spend some time with them. So I actually sold the company and the new owners took over. And from there, I took like a 2 or 3 year hiatus, and then ProTech Roofing was born. So, but as far as, being a roofing contractor and really caring about the people, it's longevity, right? So you hear the Frederick Roofings and the John Beals and all of those. And the one thing that I can tell people is, know the person you're working with, and it's about people and it's not necessarily about the company.
Right.
But make sure it's a legit company, but the people that typically work for legit companies are going to be legit too.
Right, exactly. So one of the things that you run into here more than anything when you're running into people who have had those fly-by-night experiences, tell me more about, like, what's you guys' approach that's different? Are you inspecting more thoroughly? What is different? Is it the product? Tell me a little bit about that.
So we pride ourselves on training and making sure that we are up to manufacturer specifications for all of our installations. We are a master elite contractor with GAF, which
wow.
allows us to provide extended warranties for material and labor. With that being said, you have to follow very specific guidelines. For like us, we make sure all of our crew leads are certified in the applications that they're putting on. For GAF and all of the, whether it be shingles or flat roof.
For those of you guys who don't know, Crystal's going to tell you right now. Who is GAF?
So GAF is the largest asphalt and commercial shingle roofing material manufacturer in, right now I think they're the world actually.
It's pretty big. It's close.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're basically, if you do anything, you know who they are. I believe it's I think they're the largest in the world. They got to be one of the top 5.
They're either the largest or they're creeping up there. They're in North America, South America, Europe, Canada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a woman-owned business as well. So,
no kidding.
Yeah.
I did not know that. You know something funny, which I should know this, and a buddy of mine kicked me in the butt a couple weeks ago, and he goes, hey, so I've been bouncing ideas off Ariat, like, hey, here's a picture of us with a steel this, and this is an upcoming differential podcast with a GAF installer.
Right.
And all these things, I've been kind of plugging it to their Ariat work line. Mm-hmm. I didn't know they were a women-owned business.
They are. They actually are.
I had no idea. I'm like, smack in the face to me.
Yeah.
Obviously loved all the stuff, but never did enough of the research on it. But yeah, I was actually blown away. And now that I've got to know through the internet, kind of how she came up with everything and how everything came together, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool to support them.
It is.
Women in construction.
Absolutely. You got to.
Heck yeah. So speaking of that, let's talk workforce.
Absolutely.
It's been a big drop off for everybody. I just read an article the other day that Klein Tools is going to donate I don't even remember how much towards education, $100 million, something like $10 million. It was a huge number towards education just because they know that the deficit in electricians is so vast. What are you seeing in roofing?
So, from a roofing perspective, there's highs and lows in all construction, but unfortunately, roofing, well, not unfortunately, it's fortunate for property owners. It's only when they need it, right? So
right.
There wasn't a huge influx of roofs needing to be done when the pandemic happened. So the skilled trades for roofing, we stayed steady. The industry stayed steady. We didn't really have a decline in the manpower or the workforce. And honestly, here in the St. Louis market, it's kind of slowed down a little bit.
Okay. So I mean, are people, as far as like good applicants, guys who have been on a roof, understand safety, understand the material differences, can look at a EPDM and an asphalt shingle and go, oh, I can lay both of these. How often are those guys knocking down the door versus like somebody who's a younger person saying, I would like in to this industry?
Yeah, most of our installers are somewhere between the age of late 30s and early 60s. The workforce of the younger generation, they're not coming into roofing. And if they are, they're only coming in from a customer service standpoint. They're not coming in from an installer standpoint.
So you would say this is the same problem. Like we're having issues with finding the folks that can actually get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, that was something with you that I was super interested in because there's a handful of them that I found out over the last probably 6 months that are really hurting. Electricians are dead giveaway, of course, because nobody likes to get shocked.
Yeah.
HVAC, actually, from what I understand, isn't as bad. Got a lot of applicants. Yeah. The worst ones were electricians, roofers, and, of course, the golden of all, plumbers.
Well, I was going to say plumbers.
Yeah, exactly. Who wants to work on a toilet all day?
Or walk around plumber's crack.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, those are the ones that are really getting killed, though. And now, are you getting in a lot of active, that 30 to 60 range? Is that happening often, or is that pretty rare that you get applicants?
So the crews that work with us have been with us for a long time. Usually when we find a good crew, a couple people might be replaced here or there, but our crews are pretty solid. So
okay.
2 of the asphalt crews that we use have been with us they were with us before we even went into Protect Roofing. So they
Oh, okay.
you know, the roofing skilled trades here in St. Louis, they're pretty loyal. So
That's true.
they will follow you pretty much wherever you go. So as long as they like you. So
Exactly.
our
Yeah.
crews have been with us for a long time. Like our guttering crew's been with us since 2009. Our siding crew's been with us for almost 5 years, I think. And then the 2 roofing crews that we have been with us since, I'm wanting to say it was 2012. So
Okay.
when we had that big hailstorm that came in 2012, there was a lot of guys that came in from out of state and stayed. And
Nice.
then once they stayed and made St. Louis their home, we found some real quality guys that wanted to plant roots here.
Awesome. And then, so here's my question too. Being a woman in roofing, what's your advice for a young lady who might be interested in taking this up? From a standpoint of how you did,
Yeah.
ground up, like, how does that work?
I would say don't give up and don't be afraid to ask for help. That's like the number one.
It is.
It's pretty amazing. I went to school for business and got through, a couple years of that, and I went to cosmetology school and was like, oh, this will be fun. And then I'm like, I need to find something that I actually enjoy. And then that's when the roofing sales came in. So just, keep following your passion. And if you have a passion for construction, whether it be carpentry, roofing, any of those, just continue to keep moving forward, because learning the trade and the specifics will get you to the next level. Women are detail oriented, right? So it's like the more you know,
Yeah.
the further you're going to go.
In fact, we've been really fortunate. I've been fortunate actually, because I get to network with so many different trades, and that's one of the things I've noticed is that I see more of the estimators in that role, which I think is excellent, because yes, I mean, you have to be so detail oriented,
Yeah.
especially on like new builds or big renovations. You've got to be so detail oriented. And then also, oddly enough, I met my first one January, when I was working at an elementary school in Mascoutah in the solar industry, a foreman, a female
Yes.
foreman in that space. I was like, exactly, that's what I said. And she was no joke.
Yeah.
Like, the men respected her. She got shit done with no problem.
Yeah.
Like, she was phenomenal to work with. So I'm starting to see that come around. I'm actually super excited, especially here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Because, we're late adopters, I feel like, in everything construction.
A little bit.
Or at least semi-late, I feel like. So that was really, really cool. Now, in your space, like as far as Protect is concerned, commercial, residential, doesn't matter, size-wise, distance. Tell me a little bit about how far you guys will go and what you'll do.
Yeah, so we do residential and commercial. We try not to eliminate or isolate anyone as far as the size of their project. So, we've done, we've had people that have called us and asked to do their shed in their backyard that's like 4 squares.
Okay.
So, it's really about serving the customer and not necessarily about the size of the job.
Will you guys go outside of St. Louis, you think?
Yep, absolutely.
You will? Okay.
We've done, we did a very large project, over $1 million just in roofing applications down in Branson.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, so we can do commercial large applications for shingles, getting cranes in there and all of the lifts and making sure we are doing the proper cleanup. And so we've done those multiple times. And then as far as commercial flat roofing, we have the ability to do that as well. Metal roofing. So there's really no job too big or too small. The only thing we don't really do is slate and tile. And there's just not a lot of it here.
There's
in
only a
St.
couple
Louis.
I've found. Old World, which we work with them pretty closely. They're different. The clay tile, the slate. I'm like, man, those are tough.
Yeah.
And we've shied away from that kind of work, and I'm sure you guys probably
Yeah.
it's this much of the market.
Yeah, it's definitely
Literally.
specialty, and the guys that have been doing it have been doing it for a super long time. And I do believe that a lot of those guys are grassroots, where it's been come down from like generation to generation.
Generations of doing it. Yeah.
So it's not anything that coming in, in the 2000s in St. Louis was really going to make a dent.
Yeah, and I can't imagine there's too many new builds on that particular front.
No. So, we do a lot of like Da Vinci, which is your not synthetic, but your composite tiles versus replacement of slate tile. So we do that as well.
How much difference is there in material, like with us, obviously, in the solar side, I've learned, there's the Maserati, and then there's the, I don't want to say Chevy or Ford because then I'm going to get in trouble with my friends.
Pinto?
Damn it, the Pinto. The Pinto of the Pinto of solar, and then there is literally the Mercedes. How does that work with you guys with regards to material?
So obviously using GAF specific material, we use that for all of our TPO flat roof applications as well as all of our shingle applications.
Okay.
So, they're top notch.
And that's the top tier, obviously, yes.
So if someone wants a cheaper product, more than likely we're going to tell them they need to use someone else.
Okay.
And that's only because at the end of the day, like we stand behind our quality of work. So why would we not make sure that there's a product to stand with us?
What is GAF's? Do they have something, a manufacturer warranty that you guys stand behind that they offer?
Yep. So every application that we do, we offer the additional System Plus warranty, and that gives them the material with non-prorated. So
Nice.
if you know anything about shingles, usually they're prorated after 5 years, and they only give you the difference of the shingle itself, not the nails and the felt paper and the labor and all of that. So GAF, we spend the extra $80 on every roof application, and we put that on there. So if something's to happen, discoloration, excessive granule loss, then they'll replace it for free.
You're covered, right?
Yep.
That's awesome.
And then you can go one step up, which we like to do on the flat roof applications, which is a 20-year material and labor warranty.
And that's Protect.
That would be 2 years of Protect, and then GAF picks up the remainder years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So you guys kind of double back your warranties to make
Yeah.
sure everybody's super protected.
Yep.
That's amazing. So there you go, guys. If you ever want to know, you don't pick a roofer just off of, hey, came to your door, super nice. Looks
Or
like
price.
The price looks really good. It's $30,000 cheaper than the other guy.
Yeah. I always say, when people are like, well, I can get it done for $5,000 less. Well, are we comparing apples to apples, or are we comparing apples to oranges?
Right.
Because 9 times out of 10, they're not exact.
Exactly.
This guy over here didn't use drip edge and we used drip edge, or he used 15-pound felt and we're using synthetic. So that there's so many components that go into a roofing application, whether it be shingles or it be flat roof. Flat roof, St. Louis City is a prime example. They require 6.5 inches of insulation board.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we just did one, and I was like, 6.5 inches? I'm like, you're joking. And they're like, it has to be equal to the R value that they needed. So that meant they either had to have insulation in the attic, and with a flat roof, you usually don't have it in the attic.
Withstand heat. Like, what is did they tell you why? Code-wise?
It's I believe it's R38 factor is what they want it to have.
Okay.
And the properties down in like St. Louis City, most of them have 0 insulation.
Yeah, they're not insulated. I know. I lived in one, actually, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Years ago. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's cold as hell, and it's hot as hell.
Yeah.
It's terrible, yeah.
It is. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, it's really making sure that you're doing quality workmanship.
Right. That's awesome. So, okay, and the other thing I got, do you guys put yourself, you said you pride yourself on training. What do you guys do as far as general training for your guys from safety perspectives?
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Roofing is, and I looked this up because when I got into solar, I came from the ground doing work on the ground.
yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we work up there. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, so what am I clipping into here? What do you guys do to kind of get your guys ready for the heights that they're going to work at?
Yeah. So, before they head out, we typically make sure that they have all of their proper safety gear and then it's all in working order. So just to have a fall harness doesn't mean anything if it's torn or broken or any of that. So
Yeah, exactly. Not functional.
Yeah. So making sure that they have the proper safety gear, for roofers, a lot of people would think that, safety glasses. Why safety glasses, right? But when they're using a pneumatic nailer, flies back, hits them in the eye. So, safety glasses and harnesses are typically our two that we really pay a lot of attention to, fall
Right.
protection. We do monthly meetings with them. And if we have large projects where they're going to be on the job site for several weeks, then typically we do a weekly huddle with them.
Right.
the falls from rivers is the #1 OSHA like death.
It is, yeah. It's the worst. That's what I was going to say when I looked it up. It is the most dangerous trade.
And
I
tell
other
you,
than lumber cutters, I think they said.
yeah, loggers.
Loggers, that's it. Yeah, loggers get it worse than us.
Yeah. So I can tell you, being in the industry for 20 years, there is not like it gives me chills just saying it, but there's nothing worse than like that feeling or that phone call that someone's fallen off the roof. Like
Yeah.
it just, it breaks your heart. It takes your breath away. And then you instantly go to the family. Fortunately for us, we've never had anyone killed, but we've had some guys that were seriously injured, and not because they weren't wearing their safety harnesses. The few times that it happened, they got caught in a rainstorm. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So, they're trying to make sure that it's watertight, and on their way down, it's slippery. So,
Yep.
Usually almost always they have their harness on, but then when they're coming down, they have to take it off. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're supposed to be strapped to something on the roof, so you can't come down with your strap still up.
Yeah, I was talking to, and I'm going to have a guy on. And I can speak to that actually right now because a week ago, and I can't say which school it was here locally, but I went through. I went all the way down to the server room. I put my foot on the server. Yeah, I'll have to show you pictures after the show. But yeah, I went in, cut my leg up really bad. It was horrible. But it is scary. I had my harness on. Luckily, it wasn't a big pitch, and I just stepped through it. I fell through the roof, not over the edge, thank God.
Wow.
But I was on my way down, which is I just fell forward straight in. But I'm getting ready to bring on, and I'm hoping he'll say yes. I'm still having the conversation, but a 3M rep. And then I also want to try to get a hold of Guardian and see if they'll come on. Because I'm curious to find out. That is one thing I've always been curious about is they do a great job with the tie-off systems, I think, that are, they're kind of old school, but they work. If you're on the roof, if I put my harness on, like I tell all my guys, I'm like, I'm Superman when I got a harness on. I don't care what we do. As long as I'm strapped in, we're cool.
Yeah.
My nerves kick in coming down.
Yeah.
Not even going up. Going up, I'm okay. Coming down is where I start to go, oh, geez, here we go.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a 25, 35-foot climb. The
Yes.
25-foot climbs are like, seriously?
Yeah.
And I can speak to that slippery thing, too. We've never stayed up, obviously, due to, OSHA's regulations on it, even there being a little bit of moisture.
Yeah.
But we've had rain move in, and you can't get material covered and everybody off the roof before the rain hits.
Yeah.
So then you got to make that 10, 15, 20-foot climb.
Yeah. And fortunately
When
for
it's
you
raining.
guys, most of the time you're at least dried in.
Yeah.
And there might be a small area, but, you get a pop-up storm that comes in and,
You're just stuck.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't get down fast enough. So
Yeah.
we went into a house a couple months ago because we were like, oh, we're not going to make it. And just
Yeah.
straight, guy let us climb through the window. Yeah, we put cardboard down. He brought us cardboard. He was like, come in. So we just climbed in the window because he was like, nobody's making it down that ladder. It was pouring.
Oh, man.
It would have been a fall for sure for somebody.
Yeah. Well, through the years, I've made sure that that we've followed the safety protocols. There's a company here in St. Louis called National Safety Consultants,
Okay.
and they would come in and do safety checks.
No kidding.
Yeah, they'll come to the job sites. They'll go through the requirements to be on site, and it's nice because the crews don't necessarily know that they're going to be checking on them. So,
Oh, yeah.
It's
It's a secondary safeguard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hope that the guys are always doing the right thing, but I can tell you sometimes they get in a hurry and they forget to put it on.
We don't always do it perfect.
Yeah.
We constantly are sending out PMs and foremen to be like, you have to.
Yeah.
Because here's what I will say, and I love OSHA. OSHA, this is me. In case you're watching this, I love you guys.
Yes.
It does help. But those regulations in certain cases just impact efficiency so much.
I do.
And they impact profitability. I'm sure you felt that, especially in roofing.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a rope climb or crawl
Yeah.
across the whole roof. Slows you down, hits your timelines, your margins. So that's something I feel like there is room for improvement somehow in. I don't know how, but
Oh,
guy who figures it out will
Yeah.
or gal who figures it out will make a lot of money.
There you go. So, at the end of the day for us, it's, I'd rather people go slower. We've even
yeah.
started going to like satellite imagery for all of our roof measurements just to keep our estimators off the roof.
We do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't send guys up till the day of for mark out.
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't LiDAR, satellite imagery,
Yeah.
anything, drones. We even have
Yeah.
drones now. In solar, we use drones.
Yeah.
Yes, we're super fancy out here.
It's hard to do in roofing, especially if you're looking for storm damage.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You just
couldn't.
can't see it.
Just right down off the top of it. 100 pictures right here.
The roof is leaking. Oh, let me fix that with the drone. It just
Yeah,
doesn't
the
happen.
drone. Hey, it's doable though. If you can think it, it's doable.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we're doing the same thing. We're trying to keep our sales guys and our engineers off.
Yeah.
Until we get up there. So unless we have to.
Yeah.
I will say that situation I was in a week ago though, because we didn't walk it, nobody knew.
Yeah.
Got up there and go straight through. We ended up calling, the guy who was doing the other side of the building to come over to the side of the building he wasn't supposed to do to fix the roof.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, sometimes, every now and then it's worth it, right? Put a person up there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to think of what I want to do. So I usually cap these off with like a weird question. I'll do a series of them with you.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Cardinals or the Blues?
Cardinals.
Why?
Because hockey's boring.
Oh, no. Hockey's boring? Oh, my God. Man.
I mean, I know other people think that it's
Just to
like
be clear,
Fast and Furious.
this is not a popular opinion. I'm just saying. Wow. Okay. So hockey's...
Hold on. Rewind. Right? So, because they had
Exactly.
a short season this year. How's that?
Boom. Yes. That's perfect. Okay. All right. So it's baseball because hockey's boring. Favorite place to travel to? Not Missouri.
Cabo San Lucas.
All right. So
Yeah.
you're a Corona drinker.
No, not at
No.
all. I just absolutely love the sun, and it's probably one of the most beautiful parts of Mexico.
Yeah. When's the last time you went?
Cabo? It's probably been about 7 years for Cabo.
Oh, see?
Time to go again.
Got to call GAF and be like, hey, you guys
know.
got the money. Send me down there. I sell a lot of product.
Right.
All right. And then let's see. Oh, we got to do it. It's a good construction show, right? Ford or Chevy?
Oh,
Come on.
Ford.
Ford?
Ford.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Ford tough.
Ford tough.
Yeah.
American as can be. All right. Well, hey, I want to do this again for sure. Like I said, I've got some roofing folks that are coming on from Guardian 3M, and I'm hoping I need to talk to potentially one of your reps. I need to have a rep on that can really dig down into roofing products.
Absolutely.
So we can get some differentiation for you folks. If you guys got any questions for Crystal about roofing, you can reach out to her. In the bottom of the video, I'm going to tag her company. I'm going to tag her, so she'll be able to answer questions and whatever. And if she lets us, I think she'll let us put her email down there.
Yeah.
And we'll put her email in there too, so you guys can reach out. Any roofing questions, she's awesome. Crystal Anderson, thank you so much for being on here.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.